you know, a job. So he just wanted to get a good college. College is going to give nice job. So you know, your parents are really interested to get you into the college. The reason why you're supposed to, you know, study somewhere and you're supposed to get a job. Only then you're going to get a job. That is the prime objective of your parents, and that's the reason, you know, they are going to take you to you know, the college. So he has completed his 12th standard and he has been to the college, and he has been to plenty of colleges. And one fine day he has been to the college, and in the college he could see a gatekeeper, and he was asking the gatekeeper about the college and the placements and all these things. And the gatekeeper was replying him, gentlemen, I know very well about the college, you know, everything is really great and you have got a lot of placements and all these things. And the young chap got astonished by the words of the gatekeeper. And he couldn't understand why you are a gatekeeper after all, and how could you see all the things? How could you know all these things? And he said, I know everything. You know what, as a matter of fact, I studied here. I studied here, and that's the reason, you know, I know all the things. That's the end of the joke. Maybe you can take it as a joke or anything, but this is a fact. And there are certain people, you know, they are going to study like anything, but where they are going to land matters a lot. Where are they going to land? Landing is going to be the problem. If you're going to fly often, you must be thank God for two things. And the first one is take off. And the second one is landing. And even at the time of landing, even you could have heard there's a flight crashed in Pakistan. So even at the time of landing, you know what, so many problems are going to happen. So we must thank God. We should pray for that. So landing is going to be the big problem, and people are going to study in a different college. People are going to learn so many things, but where they land matters a lot. And this gentleman, you know what, he studied in a big college, but he's landed as a gatekeeper. What is the use of it? So my point is, today morning, you're supposed to think about where are you going to land? That's the matter. Maybe you could have studied so many things, and where your resume is going to land, that matters a lot. Where your resume is going to land. And I would like to tell you a small you know, example. We would like to buy a motorcycle. What do you have to do? Can you just pray to God, God, can I give me a motorcycle? Will God give immediately the next morning when you see your, you know, in front of your house, can you see a motorcycle? No, you cannot see motorcycle, right? What do you have to do? You have to pray God. That's very important. But at the same time, you need to get a job. The job is going to give you money, and the money is going to bring you motorcycle. Okay. The same way, this resume is going to bring you interview. The interview is going to give you job. That's very important. Okay, so there are some process. I would like to tell you another incident. An Indian traditional system of marriage. The reason why I'm talking marriage, I do not know, but a lot of youngsters are here. And this is a part and parcel of everyone's life. So let me give you an example from here. Indian traditional system of marriage. I would like to mention the word traditional system of marriage. In that Indian traditional system of marriage, the first part is going to happen. What is the part? It's called meeting. We are going to meet. There is a meeting is going to happen between a groom and a bride. Meeting is going to happen. That's going to be the first thing. And for that meeting is going to lead them to the next level called betrothal. And the next level is apparently a marriage. The same way, the interview is also going to happen. The first part is meeting. And that meeting part is very essential. And they are going to have a lot of preparation on that particular day. And if a bride is a chatterbox, what the bride is going to do, that bride is not going to speak like anything at the time of a meeting. At the time of meeting, the bride is going to limit her words. She's not going to speak like anything. And at the time of meeting, they are going to prepare maybe kind of a makeup, right? And they are going to, you know, the bride is going to use some traditional dress. And if a bride is a modern bride, as a matter of, I do not know, I don't understand why these things are happening. And if that particular bride is a modern girl, she's not going to wear the modern dress. She's going to wear only the traditional dress. I do not know. I don't understand that thing, right? But anyhow, the part, that particular time, they are going to use that particular thing. And just imagine that. A groom is a rude groom, rude guy, okay? And that particular part, the groom is going to behave like meek and gentle, okay? He's going to man. But at that particular part, what he's going to do is he's going to walk like a deer. All right, in the room, he's going to walk like a deer. They are going to have a lot of cross check, right? They are going to, make sure whether the bride is going to walk. They are going to make sure whether the bride is going to sing, whether the bride is going to prepare a tea or coffee, right? These are the things that are going to happen at the time of meeting. Let me repeat that. This is an Indian traditional system of marriage, okay? There's other things, right? You know that what happens and what is going to happen at the time of marriage, how system of marriage is going to be like this. So some sort of a preparation is required in that particular meeting. Once the meeting gets succeed, only then you're going to get to the next level called betrothal. And then that will lead into that part called marriage. This is a fact. As a matter of fact, this is a part, every walk of our life, we are going to have a lot of procedures. This is not going to happen a matter of, one day or a fraction of time. It is going to happen, every process by process, we are going to step by step, we are going to do so many things. So writing a resume is apparently the first step that will take you to the next level called interview. If you're not okay with the interview, definitely you cannot get into the job. If you're not okay with the resume writing or the resume you have got, you cannot get into the next level called interview. Let me tell you some data. An estimated 12.2 crore Indians lost their jobs during the coronavirus lockdown in April. You all know that. You're very familiar about that. Maybe you could have thought, okay, let me go to USA, right? Why should I trust Indian people, right? Though I'm an Indian, I would like to, work some other country, so I don't want to stay here. If you're not ready to give me a job, okay, fine, that's right. America is here, right? My friends are there, my relatives are there. I can go and I can do whatever I like, right? So I can go there. And it's a shocking news for you. Trump signs order to suspend H-1B visas till December. We do not know. Maybe they can extend up to the lifetime, right? We do not know anything about that. So my point is, getting a job is really a hard nut to crack. It's not an easy thing, right? So how meticulously we prepare ourselves to prepare a resume is going to be the topic of today. Hope you understand that. And this is going to be the topic. Let me get into the topic. I would like to get into the topic. The first point is, resume, we're supposed to pronounce like resume, that is noun. When you should not pronounce like resume. Resume is a verb. Okay, I resumed my job after the pandemic period. Let me repeat that. I resumed my job after the pandemic period. That is resume. But this is a noun, so you're supposed to pronounce like resume. Resume is nothing but your skills and your experience data sheet. This is nothing but a skills and your experience. You're going to add something, you have all the skills, and sometimes you're going to have your experience. So skills plus experience data is called resume. All right, so hope you understand that. And the next part is biodata. Maybe you could have heard this word, 3 different words: resume, biodata, and CV. Resume, skills plus experience data, and then biodata is nothing but your biological data. And biological data, you are going to give the height of you and your color of you. Maybe if you get blue eyes, you can say I have blue eyes, right? And if you say you have a dark skin, height, weight, and all the details will be there in the biodata. I hope you know where you are going to use your biodata. and only at the time of marriage it will be used in those days. I do not know whether they're using right now, right? So that is biodata. And the last one is CV. That is skills plus your experience plus your biodata plus your life. The whole bunch of information. The whole thing is called CV. In other words, curriculum vitae. CV. Hope you understand that. This is a complete history. So what is required for us? We require students, young learners. So you need resume. You need not, maybe according to the situation, according to the need of the job, you can prepare a resume or biodata or CV. So I hope I'm clear. This is what we call it, resume. All right. And I would like to share some of the interesting facts. Since we've got very less time, I just wanted to run like anything. I want you to catch, right? And the first thing is some interesting facts about the resume. The average time spent by the recruiters when you're looking at your resume or reading your resume is anything between 5 to 7 seconds. You should not think they are going to read the whole night. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Your resume is marvelous. For that, are they going to read the whole night? No. Are they going to spend some hours for that? No. They are going to spend only 5 to 7 seconds, not even minutes. Just think of it. Just 7 seconds. For that, just 7 seconds, I'm going to speak 1.5 hours. That's very essential. Maybe you can prepare for the whole lifetime, right? So that 7 seconds plays a very vital role. That 7 seconds play a very vital role. So you're supposed to be very careful on that. And the next important factor is 76% of resumes are discarded for an unprofessional email address. And when they're going to prepare, when they're going to make or create an email address, what do you do at the time of, maybe some colleges, they are much interested to make their students to prepare, create an email ID for so many purposes. And that time, what do? You create like, pullingdoortom@gmail.com. Or just an example, right? You can use your own, imagination. You will prepare, you create some funny and naughty and sexy email address. By looking at your email address itself, that email address will address you. Should not think like, oh my God, I have got a fancy email address. No, that is not going to fantasize them. That is not going to cheat them. And that's what the record says. 76% of resumes are discarded for an unprofessional email address. All right. And the next interesting point is 88% of rejection rate when you include a photo on your resume. Nothing wrong in including your photo, right? But the record says 88% of rejection rate when you include a photo on your resume. That's so pathetic. You should not do that, right? Why? They may be, the interviewer may be a black. If they're going to see the white face on the screen, anything can happen. The interviewer may be a white. If they're going to see a black face, they may reject you, right? Why we have to get into the unnecessary things? That's not required for us. So 88% of rejection rate based on your photograph. And in the year 2000 only 22% of resumes were submitted through email. But now, that thing, in the year 2019, more than 97% of people are using email, using internet to send their resume. And then the next interesting factor is at first I said they are going to read only 7 seconds, anything between 5 to 7 seconds. How are they going to do that? The first thing is they all have the part called application tracking software. The robo is going to do something for them. They don't have enough time to do all the things because, once they're going to offer a job, once they're going to announce it, they are going to, get resumes like anything. They may get per day, they are going to get more than 1,000, 2,000 resumes. It's possible for them to read the whole thing. It is highly impossible. So what they're going to do is they are going to seek the help of robo or the software called applicant tracking software. That software is going to eliminate the unnecessary resumes. If there is no catchy word, if it is not really, sufficient, sufficient vocabulary, the tracking software is going to reject your resume, right? And one interesting fact is, if there is a spelling mistake in the resume, that applicant tracking software is going to find out the mistake and tell that employer that there is a mistake in that, just reject. It is going to recommend the employer to reject your resume. That is the prime job of the applicant tracking software. So hope you understand that why we have to be very careful on preparing a resume, right? And then the next interesting point is 93% of recruiters they're likely to have candidates' social media profile. Once they received it, once the resume is going to come into the second part, maybe the first part, the applicant tracking software is going to help them to get find out the right persons. The second part, human beings are going to see the resume, and when they see the thing, they are going to see the media profile, and the social media profile is very valid, and they are going to see all these things. On that basis, they are going to call you. Hope you understand that when you're going to read all the interesting facts about the resume, you could have understood one thing, that is, we must be very careful, right? You can understand that, right? It's very visible that you're supposed to be very careful. You're supposed to be conscious, right? When you have consciousness, only then you can get a job. If you are too lethargic preparing your resume, it is highly impossible for you to get a job. So that's very important. So that's an introduction. I would like to get into the point. The first point, when you are going to write a resume, in the first page, the first preference would be your contact details. The reason why, in those days, what they do, I worked HR for 2 to 3 companies by the grace of God. And there we love to, in those days, we love to, get the people, we love to call them, right? But we couldn't find any contact details. Somewhere in the second page or third page, somewhere in the back, it is very annoying thing for HR to find out, search the contact details. If it is in the first page, it's pretty easy for them. All are human beings, right? And we are going to sometimes, we feel irritated because of certain things, right? And we cannot, our mood will wave, right? Our mood is going to be not going to be constant all the time. It is going to be, it is going to wave like anything, right? So we cannot, if you feel like tired of searching contact details, say, okay, come on, move on to the next one. We're going to say like that. So the first preference you're supposed to give your first page is your contact details. That's very essential. In the contact details, what are the first thing you're supposed to write? You're supposed to write your name. That's very important. Write your name with your initial. That's very important. Okay, because there are plenty of names. It's a common name, like Prabhu is a very common name in North India. When I'm going to write in Prabhu, there are plenty of thousand and crore Prabhus are there. So we do not know which Prabhu is attender, which Prabhu is there. Maybe in the particular resume, we could have gotten some 2 or 3 different Prabhus, or more than that. If there is an initial in that, so that they can easily understand that, okay, this is Ye Ratna Prabhu. So that's very easy for them to understand that. So write your name with your initial. That's very important. The second thing is write your physical address. Okay, why it is? We have internet, we have email, we have everything. Why should I write the physical address? You should write your physical address. There are certain cases, what they're going to do is, they are not going to inform you. They'll come and visit your place, and they are going to inquire about you around your people, right, near to your home. They are going to come and visit your place. Without your knowledge, they are going to come and visit you. For that purpose, you need to write. It is mandatory to write your physical address. The next thing is, in fact, the phone number. If you have landline number, that's great. If you have mobile phone, that's great. Maybe if you have 3 or 4 mobile number, please don't write all the 4 numbers. That's not really great. Write only one number, that's great, okay? And when you're going to write 3 or 4 mobile numbers, they may say that, okay, he's rich enough, he has got plenty of mobile numbers, right? Maybe, they may come to a different conclusion. So write only one number, and that number may reach you immediately. There are certain numbers that will tell you, right, is out of range. And people are going to call you like anything, it will tell only out of range, out of range, out of range. This has happened in my life. When I got selected in my college, the principal of the college called me, but the principal couldn't reach me. I gave some number, but it kept on telling like out of range, out of range, out of range. But fortunately, it's all because of God. The next day he called me, he picked me. So my point is, give a proper mobile number that will help you, right? And the next one is valid email address. That email address should be professional, right? It is not like a fun kind of a thing. It is not like a fantasy kind of a thing. It is not like it should not make you make you underestimate your skill and all these things. So you're supposed to be very careful using this email address. And if you have website address, that's great. You can give your website address. If you're a blog writer, you can give your blog address so that they can read some of the articles from you, and that is going to give you more advantage, right? So that's very important. And this is going to be the first column. In the first column, in the first page, you're supposed to write only the contact details of you. That's very essential. And I'm giving you the international model of resume. This is not from the local or some other thing. This is an international format. You can use this for all your interviews. You can use for all your job interviews, maybe anything you can use it. So the first one is you're supposed to use your contact details. And let's move on to the second one. This is called the career objective. Why should I write career objective? Career objective is nothing but it is going to describe your skill, your experience, and your ability. These are the 3 things you're going to describe in a nutshell, okay? And as I informed you earlier, they have only 7 seconds. Within that 7 seconds, they're supposed to go through all the things, right? So the first page is very essential. And this first page is supposed to concentrate like anything. And this career objective is very essential. That is you're going to describe the skill and the experience and the abilities. And I gave you some of the, examples of it. Certified, let me read for you. Certified dental assistant with 12 plus years in direct patient care. This is how you have to coin. This is how you have to make your objective, career objective. Objective statements are really very essential, and once they're going to read the objective, only then they'll move into the next part. If they are okay with the career objective, only then this is very essential. If they're okay with the career objective, only then they'll move on to the next one. So writing a career objective is very interesting, and I wrote something like dynamic, trustworthy, and result-oriented ELT teacher with excellent communication, right? Is that right? All right, and then committed to inculcate a passion for learning, okay? And then creating multicultural awareness through teaching the fundamentals of English language, all right? So this is my career objective. There are certain things we should not do that when you're going to write your career objectives, that you should not do certain things. The number one is it should not be too vague. You should not write the story. Okay, there are some people, they are going to write some 6 to 7 lines. That is not at all career object. That's going to be your story. You're not, maybe you are a great storyteller, story writer, but this is not the right place for you to write your story there. Okay, it may be 2 to 3 sentences are okay. If you're going to write more than that, that's so pathetic. And they have no time to read the whole thing. That will make them sick. So for example, looking for a, the two vague, two vague things are going to be like this. Objectives are going to be like this, like looking for a long-term, full-time job where I can apply my extensive skills and knowledge to the passion for which I'm hired. Okay, this is so tired. Okay, if they're going to write like this, it will make them tired. Okay, so you should not write like this. And there are certain people, they are going to write only the subjective kind of writing. They all self-centered. They are going to write only their part. I will do that. I can do that. I have done that. No, that's not really great. And all your the statements should be objective. Okay, so career objective should be in objective mode, not in a subjective writing. For example, this is a bad example. As a senior accountant who with experience in both the public and private sectors, I successfully deliver. Let me repeat that. I successfully deliver growth to diverse markets across the Asia Pacific region. Winner of the Thoughts, Leader of the Year, Award of the Australian Accounting Awards, and blah, 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 blah. And all the things they're going to write. I am perfectly positioned in that I am. So you should not write like that. Okay. And there are certain people, they are much self-centered in their writing. They are going to write like, they are going to quote their salary in the objective column. For example, looking forward to earn more than 3,000 per annum at your company. Is it a good thing? Definitely, it is not going to bring you job. And then sometimes they are going to be, they'll write like, I want a regular 9-hour job until I find a goal for what I should be. This is really pathetic. And then some people will say that, you know what, as a matter of fact, my dream job would be a professional cricketer. But you know what, but since I couldn't get that, I will settle on being a teacher, right? They are so self-centered. They may feel like, I'm so plain, right? I'm an open book, right? This is not going to help you out. In this area, you're supposed to have some knowledge, okay? And there are certain people, what they're going to write, they are going to write untargeted objectives. They'll write like every job available. They may write like every job available. And they are going to write like to secure a job or career. And this is an example for untargeted objectives. There are certain people, they are going to use objectives for all the jobs. Okay, they are not going to do anything. They know only two keys in the computer, that is control, that is copy and paste. These are the two keys, they know that. So what they do, and they are going to cut, copy and paste. That's it. And that's not really a good sign. That definitely will not give you anything, right? So writing a career objective is very essential. You must be very careful, and I have no time to explain all the things, and there are plenty of things supposed to be explained, but since I've got a very little time, I just wanted to rush. Fine. So next very important and very essential thing is skill set. Okay, hope you understand the difference between skills and talent. Talent is a thing, when we were in the womb of our mother, God opened our skull and he put something in the skull, and that part is being distributed equally to the whole human being. This is not only for A, and this is not only for B, and this is for everyone. Okay, so this is what we call a talent. Some people are going to say, hey, I don't know, I'm not a talented, I'm less talented, I'm not a talented guy. Okay, God didn't give me. Don't blame God and stop blaming God, because God gave talent to every one of you. Okay, but the skill is a different thing, and he left this part called skill. Skill is a part that you're supposed to acquire from others. You should not do, you should not skillfully, you should not say like that, I'm a skillful person. You can say that, by birth itself, I've got all these things. No, it is not. Okay. Even the son of Tendulkar cannot play at the age of 1, right? At the age of, the very little age, right? Son of Tendulkar cannot play cricket. Okay. So skill is a thing that everyone should acquire. Skill encompasses the knowledge competencies and abilities to perform operational tasks. So skill must be acquired from our life and from our work experience and from our learning. If you're interested to acquire skill, what you need to do is you have to learn from others. Maybe you could have learned how to drive a car, right? How did you do that? You saw someone was driving a car, and one particular day you asked them, right? You asked how to do that, and they gave their knowledge to you, and that knowledge became your knowledge, and that is how you acquired a skill. And that particular day itself, you got a great car, you got how to drive on those things, though you didn't drive for 12 years or 15 years. After 15 years, if someone is going to give you a car, and what do? You drive, right? You won't forget it. Okay, that's so interesting, right? Once you're going to learn a particular skill, this is for your lifetime. This is for, I'm sure, friends, this is for your lifetime. Even for swimming, right? Even for anything, it's a skill. When you're going to learn certain things, this is for your lifetime. Okay, so learning the skill is very essential. When you have skills, that particular skill set should be placed in the next part. The first part is, let me repeat that. The first part is, yes, that's great. It is, yeah. This is, yes. Okay, the first part is your contact details. The second part is your career objective. The third one is you're supposed to write the skills you have. Okay, there are plenty of skills. The first one is job skills. In the job, if you would like to work in a company or anywhere, you need to have these other skills. The first one is verbal communication skills and the non-verbal communication skills. Sometimes people are going to say that, okay, I have verbal communication, but I'm not going to much bother about the non-verbal communication. I can speak like anything, right? But you cannot be an effective communicator. Once you're going to mix these two skills, verbal as well as non-verbal communication, only then the communication will be effective. So these two things are very essential. The next thing is written communication. And there are so many people, what they do, they can speak English like anything, and they are going to listen like anything. But when we're going to ask them to write something, you can see plenty of errors inside it.
Sir, please excuse me.
In a sentence, you can see some 7 or 8 errors. You will see only 6 words there in the sentence, but you'll see 7 errors. And what is the 7th error? Punctuation mark. There is no punctuation mark, right? There is no capital, right?
Please
so there is no question mark.
Please raise. Could you please raise your voice, sir? Hello.
Right. Sorry, friends. Is it audible now?
Okay, sir. Yes, it's now audible.
Not audible. Okay.
Please come closer to the.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Fine. Yes. The next point is negotiation skill, and there are plenty of skills. I cannot explain all the skills right now. Right? We need some time to explain the whole skills. And we have technical skills, we have accounting skills, we have customer service skills, all right? And then we have, we need to have confidence, and we need to, sometimes, we feel that, is it a skill? Confidence is a skill? Yes, it is a skill, right? You may think like that, and my father is a big man and my mother is, no. Though your father and mother are big, right? And they are so great, but confidence is a skill. You have to develop it. Then and there, you have to develop it. So developing the confidence level is very essential. That's what, it comes under the title called skill, okay? And then honesty is a skill, okay? Honesty is a skill, okay? And then interviewing is a skill, and diplomacy is a skill, scheduling is a skill, reporting is a skill, and the last one is time management is a skill, okay? So managing time is definitely a skill, because there are certain times, we cannot manage time, right? It will go like anything, and we have to rush, right? So managing time is in fact a skill, okay? And we'll move on to the next skill called the leadership skills. Okay, decision making is a skill, and critical thinking is a skill, planning is a skill, conflict resolution is a skill. When you are a leader, you're going to face a lot of conflicts. Conflict resolution is apparently a skill, and you need to know how to give solution to a conflict. That's in fact a skill you have to learn. Unless you learn certain things, it's pretty tough for you to manage. And the next skill is people managing. And how often, people are going to complain, people are going to come and say that, this is really a sick thing, I don't want to go for that, okay? So managing people is in fact a skill, right? And then solving a problem, and then offering sound advice is again a skill. The next important part is active listening is a skill. And we need to have some practice. We may feel like that, while working certain things, and I'm a multitasker, I can listen to anything else. No, we cannot, okay? The reason is it must be learned. When you are not going to listen something, you're going to lose so many things. So active listening plays a very vital role. Active listening is a skill. And then administrative skills, and then attention to detail. There are certain people, what they do, they are not going to listen to anything else. And you're supposed to repeat them again and again, and they're going to say that, excuse me, sir, would you please repeat that in the classroom? And they'll say like, sir, what did you say? Would you please repeat that? They are going to, lack of understanding, lack of, detail gathering, right? Attention to detail is in fact a skill. And then rapport building is a skill. Though you travel with others for more than 2 or 3 days, there are some people, they're not going to utter a single word, okay? The reason is they never had kind of a experience in their life. And this is rapport building is again a skill, and collaboration is a skill, and then innovation is a skill, providing feedback is a skill, and the last one is imagination is a skill, right? Is it a skill? Oh my God. Sometimes I feel that, I can imagine like anything, right? Even in the classroom, my students will tell, okay, the best thing ever in the world, the best entertainment ever in the world is nothing but an imagination. During the lecture, what they do, they are going to switch off here, and they're going to switch on some other part called imagination. They are going to live like anything, right? So for that also, they need to have some skill. For imagination itself a skill, right? The next part is organization skills. There are many skills there. I don't want to tell all these things. The first interesting thing is reading comprehension it's a skill. You're supposed to read a lot, okay? And reasoning skill and the logic skill. Somebody's going to come and tell you, this February 31st, I would like to give you something. And you're supposed to have, if you think, okay, fine, you can just give it to me. You should not say like that. You're supposed to think at that particular point. You're supposed to say February 31st. Is it possible February? No way to get 31st, right? So you need to have that logic skills. When you have the logic skills, that will help people, right? And the last one is life skills. In US, country like US, we all have some courses, right? Professional courses, 4 years. And then, arts and science colleges, we have got 3 years, even B.Ed college, 2 years, right? We study and study and study all these things, right? Other than the life skills. So what they have decided in US, they've got a different school. Though they studied all the things in their college, they have a different school. Once they complete their college studies, they'll go to a different different school called life skills schools or life skills schools. There, they are going to learn so many things, which are very much related to the job. What are the things they are going to learn? In fact, they are going to learn communication, how to communicate with others, and adaptability, and how to drive a car. These are the things in life skills, and it's very essential for life. And then how to swim, that's also very essential, right? And then they are going to write basic finance skills. And they're also going to get some information about how to create a grocery list. And this is very interesting because, when you go to the shop, your partner is going to ask you to get something, right? And if you're going to give the list to the partner is going to write his whole things, right? And we cannot get all these things because according to the based on the money we are going to get all this. So this is a skill. Preparing or creating a grocery list is a skill, and cleaning is a skill, right? There are certain people when we're going to ask them to clean certain things, that. Okay, so cleaning is a skill, and organizing home is a skill, and parenting is a skill, and then flexibility is a skill, right? There are some people, they always like, right, and they don't want to be flexible with other people. So they're supposed to get some information from others how to be flexible. Okay, so flexibility is very essential. And this corona period, what is required? The very much required is staying motivated. And I heard there are many people say that the next to my home there's a street, and they said somebody got affected by coronavirus, COVID-19. So we need to be staying motivated in the house is very essential. And there are certain times we have to. And the next part is managing stress. We'll all get stress then and there. Every walk of our life will have stress. So managing stress is very essential, and this is one of the skills. And then the last one is sense of humor. I do not know how many of you have that kind of a thing. And when you are going to have close acquaintances with the people and they say, okay, come on, speak something and crack a joke, there are two kinds of people, they are going to follow you. If you have money, people are going to follow you. And if you have sense of humor, you'll have your own team. Okay, so these two things are very essential. Managing stress and a sense of humor is very essential, and you need to have all these things. Once you have all the skills, only then you can write something in the resume. You're supposed to write in the next part. You're supposed to write all the skills you have. You should not tell a lie with that. You should not tell a lie. You're supposed to write the true things. Okay, that's very essential. And let me tell you a story about a builder and a carpenter. The carpenter is an elderly carpenter. You could have heard this story before, but anyhow, just listen. Elderly carpenter, there's a builder. The builder has got an elderly carpenter, and the carpenter is a really great carpenter. So the builder, built houses and houses and houses because of this carpenter. Because he designed miraculous, designs. So one fine day, the carpenter wanted to say goodbye because since he's got old, he just wanted to say, carpenter, I don't want to work here because I'm old. Okay, and then the builder said, the builder said, okay, carpenter, I just wanted to say goodbye you, but I would like to give you a last assignment. Okay, and this is going to be your last assignment, so be careful. And give your extra strength, give all your effort into that particular project. And with this last project, I'm going to say goodbye to you. But the carpenter is not much happy about it because he's not much interested in it. Okay, I just wanted to go, but why? What made him to go for that thing? But anyhow, without interest, he has got just. He said yes. He nodded his head and said. But he used all the substandard materials and he handed and he bought some unnecessary things, right? And without interest, he completed the work, the house, okay? And the carpenter, the carpenter handed over the keys to the builder, and the builder gave back the keys to the carpenter. And the carpenter got really, wondered, what made you to give the keys to me and I'm not a owner of the house? And the builder said, you are the owner. This is your home. The reason why I'm giving you are like anything, you are best carpenter ever. I just wanted to give you price and this is your house. The carpenter, maybe you understand the condition of the carpenter. The carpenter lamented like anything. That is the only thing he can do that. If I had known earlier, I would have built perfectly the house, but I didn't know that. I didn't know all these things. So this is my home. This is my home. I didn't do it in a perfect way. So he lamented like anything. So my point is, there is no point of lamenting, and there are times, right? You've got 3 years. If you're an arts and science student, you've got 3 years, If you're an engineering graduate, you've got 4 years. All the 3 years and 4 years, you're supposed to improve your skills. Then and there, you have to improve it. If you're not going to improve your skills, you can't do anything. Okay? And the lamenting is going to be the only thing that is going to come into the last, right? So improving your skill is very essential. Once you have got all the things, only then you can keep keep all the things in the resume. So how to improve your skills? The first thing is you have to make a list of skills you wish to improve. First of all, you need to have some lists. Once you have the list, only then you are going to get into it. Once you're not going to have a list, you cannot get into it. So have some list, and you need to have some investments on that thing. Sometimes you can buy something to improve your skills. Sometimes you need to, invest your time, and you need to, dedicate yourself for that. Okay. And the next thing is you have to set goals for that. And you should not say that, okay, I've got all this, I'm interested, I bought something, I would like to invest money on that, I would like to invest time for that. But you need to set goals for that. Okay, this is the time I'm going to start now. Another 6 months, I'll be receiving, I'm going to complete all these things, right? You need to set goals. The next thing is, you need to get a coach for that. If you have any, if you're not okay with that, you're supposed to get a coach. And the last one is, do it every day. That's very essential. And most of the time, people are not going to do that. Maybe some 2 days we'll do it, and the 3 days we'll sleep. In the next 2 days, we'll think of it. The next 5 days, we'll sleep. That's it. That's the end of everything. So do it every day is very essential. And one of my friends told me, if you would like to become an IAS officer, 2 hours per day is sufficient to clear the examination. I do not know how many of you are going to believe that, but some people are going to say that, okay, even from the beginning, in the 6th standard, in the first standard itself, you have to study all the IAS materials, you have to buy all this. No, not at all. You're supposed to study, do it every day, study 2 hours every day. I know there are a lot of IAS people, they said they're the same thing. When you are going to study 2 hours every day, that is more than enough. Okay, so once you get all the skills, okay, I gave you skills. What are the skills required to get a job? And I gave you how to improve the skills. And now I would like to tell you what are the things you have to place into the resume. Okay, areas of expertise. The first one is you have to select only the acquainted skills. You should not write the whole skills. You should not make them full, right? And they are going to check at the time of interview, they are going to check everything. So you simply, to fill the pages, you should not write all the skills that you have known. You're supposed to select only the acquainted skills. And the number 2 is, you're supposed to write skills which outfit for the job. Okay, there are certain jobs, certain skills are required. You should not write the whole bunch of skills that you are acquainted. You're supposed to write the skills which outfit for the job. These are the 2 things, or you must be very careful writing the skills in the resume. Hope I'm clear. All right, this part is over, and we'll move on to the next important part, and we've got another 3 to 4 parts, right? I want you to concentrate, and this is going to be really a tough one to concentrate, but there are some people, they are much in need of it, because getting a job in these days, right, it's really a tough one, right? For you people, definitely it's going to help you. And the next interesting part is your education, right? And you could have studied 3 years, 4 years, right? You could have completed your MA, MPhil, PhD, and all these things, right? And you're supposed to register all your education in the resume. That is going to be the next part. When you're going to write the education things in the part, you're supposed to write in this reverse chronological order, and that is very essential. And the last one, the recently completed one, should come to the first one. Okay, for example, in the part I have mentioned, my area, that is PhD English language teaching. That's recently completed. Recently, in the sense the year 2015, I have completed. I completed, and then Anna University Chennai, I mentioned. The next part is, first one is degree. I supposed to mention degree, that is PhD. And then name of the stream is English language teaching. And maybe you can mention, anything you can write, right? And the name of the college, and University, and Anna University, Chennai is going to be the university. And then if you are interested, you can write the topic of your thesis, and then year of completion, right, in the year 2015. And for my Master of Philosophy, I have mentioned here MPhil here, and then English Language and Literature. I completed to MS University, that is Manomaniyam Sundaranar University, Tirunelveli, 79%. And then in the year I mentioned here, it's 2008. Okay, so what are the things required when you're going to write education? And kindly don't draw any tables inside it in the resume. All right, don't do all these things. Right, let me tell you what are the things you should not do in the resume in the last part. And here you're supposed to write your degree, and you're supposed to write the name of the stream, name of the college and university, year of completion, and the percentage. And 1, 2, 3, 5 things are very essential, and this is mandatory. You're supposed to write all the 5 things. On the basis they are going to give you a job, so you're supposed to give some detail, right? Not the whole thing. You're supposed to write some details, all right? And then we'll move on to the next interesting part, is called experience. And this experience part also you're supposed to write in this manner, that is reverse chronological order. You're supposed to write in reverse chronological order. That's very important. And then you all have different experiences, maybe teaching experience, your company experience. And in the experience column itself, you're going to write, maybe you could have published so many papers. In the publication column, maybe you're supposed to mention national or international. You need not write the whole bunch of lists. You're supposed to write, if you could have completed some 25 national publications, write 25 numbers. That's more than enough. If you have completed 30 international publications, that's a number. Give them a number. No need to give the whole thing in the resume, right? If they are interested to get all these things, make it a book and give it to them. That's a great thing. And then presentation, national and international. How many national presentations you have completed and how many international. And then participated, how many national and international things. Even in the webinars, you can mention all these things. I have participated in so many webinars. I have attended. I have presented. Right, these are the things you can mention in the experience column. And then the labs and subjects handled, that is also very essential. Some of them, for when you are going to prepare, if you're a teacher, they are very much interested to know what are the labs you have handled and how many subjects you have handled and what are the subjects you have handled. You can mention all these things. All right, and then you can mention your achievements, your career achievements, and the classroom achievements, right? And made them clear, all these things, right? And the 10% results and everything you can write in the experience column. And when we're going to write this experience column, what we do, we are going to use all the dead words in there most of the time, and we're going to see the resume, and you see some repeated dead words, right? If you're going to use the repeated dead words, nobody can entertain you. So there are certain words, right? I have got some words from a site called Eng with ENGV. Engwid.com. There you can see a lot of power words. Okay, power words are going to give you a job. Okay, and instead of writing made, instead of writing did, you're supposed to use accelerated, achieved, advanced, amplified, boosted, capitalized, delivered, enhanced, expanded, further, gained, generated, improved, lifted, maximized, outpaced, stimulated, and all these things. And then when you are, if you're a teacher, maybe you could have given advice, piece of advices to many students. You can say that advice. You can see the power words like advice, advocated, arbitrated, coached, consulted, educated, fielded, informed, and resolved. And if you're a researcher, you could have, you've got plenty of words, right? Different words, power words. But I would like to suggest some of the power words like analyzed, assembled, accessed, audited, calculated, discovered, evaluated, examined, explored, forecasted, identified, interpreted, investigated, mapped and measured, qualified, quantified, surveyed, tested, and tracked. So these are the power words you're supposed to use it. And I mentioned in the beginning, the tracking system, applicant's tracking system is going to pick the power words. When you have the power words in the resume, that is going to tell the interviewer all the about you, about the power words. The power words are going to give strength to you, right? So try to use all the power words, not the repeated repeated words are going to make them annoyed. So try to use some power words. It is available in the internet. You can make use of it. And the next part, what we're going to see is co-curricular activities. In the college, you have got so many co-curricular activities. There are like debating club, elocution club, essay writing club, spell bee club, and something like indoor games, outdoor games, sports, and helping somebody, and being active in clubs like NSS, NCC. There are plenty of clubs, right? So I don't want to tell all these clubs there. And maybe you are running a newsletter, you're a magazine thing, running a magazine, and you volunteer for certain things. And there are some people, they are much eager to give volunteering work, right? Maybe you could have received some certificates for that. Once you're going to receive certificates, only then you can, right? So you can write co-curricular activities, and then you're supposed to write extracurricular activities. Hope you understand the difference between co-curricular activity, extracurricular activity. And extracurricular activity is nothing but playing a musical instrument, singing, dancing, drawing, painting, tailoring, art and craft, and dramatics, play modeling, right? These are the things you're supposed to write. You have to mention in the resume. And you should you may think like, is it possible for me to write the whole thing? Yes, it is, right? You're supposed to write the whole thing, right? It is not exactly the details, and just give some information. That's in the first page. Since it's the first page, you just give them some information that is going to help them to understand what sort of person you are. Even sometimes they are badly in need of a musical, they're badly in need of a singer, right? That particular word, maybe if you mention that I'm a singer, that particular word will give you a job. Yeah, I'm sure. That particular word is going to give you a job. So you're supposed to mention, if you're a singer, you're supposed to mention that I'm a singer. That will definitely bring a job for you. And then the very interesting part is strengths of you. And we all have all the strengths, right? Sometimes we say that God is my strength. Sometimes we say that my father and mother are my strength. That's great. And you're supposed to mention the strengths of it. What are the strengths? Let me give you an example so that you can understand the strengths of you. First one is enthusiasm. There are certain people, when you're going to talk with them and they are not going to give you a good sign, they can say that they are going to speak like a dead, right? And what are you going to do? You just stop speaking with them and then say goodbye, right? When you are not going to have that enthusiasm in your talk, enthusiasm in your activities, nobody is going to like you. I'm damn sure. So you need to have some enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is very essential. The next important strength you need to have is willingness to learn. If you are interested to learn all the time, that's so great. Some people, once they got government job, what they do, they stop everything, right? And they say that, okay, coronavirus, I'm so happy that live here. We would like to, have a good relationship with you and be with us. Stay with us, stay forever and ever. The reason why, they don't want to work anything. They don't want to go to the work, right? And they don't want to learn anything. Just want to sleep and eat and eat. They just wanted to pass their time like this, right? So they're not ready to they're not willing to learn anything in their life. All right. So I see when people are going to come out of the permanent job, what they're going to do, they stop everything. And before getting a job, they do all that thing. They attend the webinar in a sincere way. They go to the seminars and all these things. They are interested to get a lot of certificates. But once they get jobs, they stop everything. That's so pathetic. Don't do that. Okay, so learning is going to be the lifelong process. Even at the age of 85, you're supposed to learn, right? The next strength is your trustworthiness, right? And people are going to appreciate if you're a trustworthy person, right? It is very tough to see the trustworthy people right now, okay? And that's a strength. And then when you are creative, you're supposed to write your creativity. And when you are disciplined, that's very important, right? Right. I'm a disciplined person. And if you feel I'm so patient is not in a go to the hospital and not like that kind of a patient, right? And then respectfulness. There are certain people, what they do. I see some of my students, they'll say good morning sir, good afternoon sir, good evening sir, and they'll text message and all these things. Once I'm not going to teach something, maybe in the next semester, once they understand that I'm not going to teach them in this particular semester, they're going to stop all these things, right? That's the end of the thing, right? That's so pathetic. So my point is, when you wanted to give respect to a particular person, give respect to throughout their life. Okay, so respectfulness is very essential. And when you have dedication, that's also very essential. Dedication. And then if you're honest enough, you can very boldly, you can mention that I'm an honest person, right? That is my strength. I'm an honest person, that is my strength. And when you are flexible in situations, that is also your strength. You can mention that is my strength. And there are certain people, what they do, they may be an altruist in the sense, though they have no way to eat anything else, they love to give others, right? If you are that kind of a person, you can mention that I'm an altruist. Okay, that will speak. And then the last part is love. Okay, I love everyone. All right. There are many people, they say that I love others, but they're not going to do that. But loving others is very essential, the needed one. And if you say that I love others, that's so great. Okay, you can mention that in the resume. I love others. I love people. All right. I love everyone. Okay. Whether poor or rich, that does not matter. I'm going to love everyone. If you have that kind of an attitude, just mention that I love everyone. That's so great. So these are the strengths you're supposed to write. And kindly, this is very important, just listen to that. Kindly don't write your weaknesses in the resume. Some people, they're going to write, I'm a lazy guy, right? No, don't do that. Don't write anything in that. And you're supposed to tell at the time of interview, if the interviewer is going to ask you, that's it. If the interviewer is going to ask very much particular about, that kind of a thing, your weaknesses, you're supposed to write all this. If at all they ask something, don't do that. Okay. And then if they're going to ask you, what are your weaknesses? Don't say that I'm a lazy guy, I'm a short-term bird. No, don't do that. And you should not write all your real weaknesses. You're supposed to write, if you're a boy, you can write, I'm a cook, right? Anything, should not harm your image. That's very important. All right. So these are your strengths you can mention in the first page, not in the second page, right? And we'll move on to the next interesting part, and this is going to be the last part, that is declaration. Do we have to write declaration? In foreign countries, they are not going to write any declaration, but in India, a country like India, it is very much needed. Okay, so this is going to be the most important part of the resume, and it assures the truthfulness of you, right? And it is one more thing, it is fully acknowledged by the applicant. Okay, so you can write like, I hereby declare that above mentioned information is correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. So these three sentences are going to make some differences, right? Definitely it is going to make some difference. To write all the declaration part, that is also very important. Some more time to complete this cover letter part, because this is very essential, right? And the first one is going to be the cover letter. When you're going to apply through online, you are going to attach your resume in the attachment part, but in the cover letter, you are going to, in the body of the in the email, you are going to write the cover letter. So writing a cover letter is going to be the first step, right? Whether to see the resume or not, it purely depends on your cover letter. So try to write a cover letter in a perfect way. That's very important. The same way, the same importance you're supposed to give to the cover letter too. Okay. In the cover letter, you're supposed to write to the real person, and most of the time you're going to change the company address. We are going to change some other things. You're supposed to write only real persons. And then proper formatting is very essential, right? And you're supposed to start with from thing. In the from thing, you're supposed to write the sender's address, applicant's address. That's very essential. And then in the to column, you're supposed to write the right company. And most of the time we apply for different companies, right? And you must be very careful where you send. Right? Don't write the different addresses, other address, right? So write the right person's address. That's very essential. And start with the salutation column. This is what we call it. In those days, they'll say the respected sir, but that's not really great. Nowadays, it is not required. You can start with dear sir or ma'am. That's it. Okay. Instead of writing, this is not, I'm not taking to the other end. The part is, nowadays, it is a formal thing, right? Some people may think like, it is not formal. It is, no, it's not like that. Writing dear is formal. Nowadays, it's formal. Okay. So start with dear sir or ma'am. That's very important. And then don't forget to finish your writing. Maybe, in fact, in the next part is your body. And then the complimentary close is very essential. And most of the people, they are going to write thanking you. No, that's right. That's wrong. Don't try to write thanking you. Try to write thank you. And more formal, I thank you. That's very important. Okay. And try to make it in a very, very perfect way. That's very essential. And then in the body column, clearly define who you are and why they should hire you. Who you are and why they should hire you. It's a very big topic. I cannot cover all the things today. So try to cover all these things. Answer these two questions. Define who you are and why should they hire you. This is very important. Okay, fine. And then spotlight all your achievements. Spotlight all your achievements. What are the skills, as I mentioned earlier, what are the skills you've got? What are your strengths, right? Put all these things into 4 sentences or 5 sentences. And the maximum would be 5 sentences, not more than that. Try to write everything within these 5 sentences. And next, very important thing is you have to proofread all your writing. And then if needed, tailor it, okay? And try to use clear and straightforward language. And most of the people are going to use some gimmicks and some phrases. It's pretty tough for the people to understand. So try to write clear and straightforward language. That is definitely going to help you to get job. And you're supposed to go beyond the resume, not exactly the same in the resume. You're supposed to write something, some polished things you're supposed to write on that. And you must be very strict on writing this cover letter in 1 page. You should not move on to the next page, second page. Everything should be in the 1 page. Okay, so that's very important. This is all about the cover letter. All right, I would like to share some of the things, since we are very near to the time, and now I would like to share some of the things. What are the things you're supposed to do while writing resume? I would like to take another 5 to 10 minutes. That is going to be the end of the session. And there are certain things you're supposed to do that, and this is kind of a checklist. You're supposed to, if you have pen and paper, just note it down all the things. The first thing is you try to write your resume within 2 to 3 pages, not more than that. The maximum would be 2. Okay, if you're really great, if you have plenty of things to share, 3, that's it. Okay, don't never ever exceed more than 3 pages. All right. And then the next thing is common font style would be Calibri times New Roman. These are the 2 common fonts you can use it. Don't use some bumpy kind of fonts that will give negative notation. And then the font size would be, the standard font size would be anything between 12 to 14. The 14 is not that much good. Maybe 12 to 13 is fine, right? No, not exactly 14. 12 to 13 is okay. And then appropriate spacing would be anything between 1.5 to 2. That's it. That's the thing. And then when you are going to write your highlight your experience and all these things, you're supposed to put it everything in the bullet points, and don't go more than 7 bullet points. If you have 7 bullet points, that's great. And if you write more than that, they have no time to read the whole thing, right? If you have more than that, cut short all the things, put everything into the 7 bullet points. Oh, that's very essential. And the margin would be 1 point all around. Margin is very essential, and there are certain people, they are not going to bother about the margin. And try to put the margin in 1 point all around. And then the left margin is also, left alignment is also okay, and justified is also okay. No need to worry for that thing. And try to understand your audience. And before writing your resume, you're supposed to get into the internet and go to the site of the company and try to understand the company, read all the things, study all their culture, study all about them, and then try to write it. And the most important thing is spelling and the grammar check. As I mentioned earlier, there is a software for that. Applicant tracking software is going to check your spelling and your grammar on all this. If it is if your spelling is really bad, if your grammar is if you have bad grammar, definitely it will put aside, right? So try to keep everything in your mind. And the next important thing is, and most of the people, 98% of people are going to write only in that only in the email. But in those days, they are going to see the paper, right? Everything will be in the paper. So try to put some great paper, in the sense some great GSM, good GSM, right? The value would be anything between 90 to 100 would be the nice paper for resume, not for just taking a photocopy or something like that. Especially for resume writing, you're supposed to have a paper of 100 GSM, anything between 90 to 100 is okay. And then the last part is bold. Where you have to bold, where you should not bold is very essential. And try to understand where you have to bold. Simply don't put a bold space, bold thing everywhere, right? Try to understand where you have to use bold and all these things. Finally, when you make everything in a Word format, try to convert the Word format into a PDF format. So only then, when they are going to take a printout or when they're going to see the things, the letters will not be changed or clumped. So try to get all the things into the PDF format. That's very essential. All right. And last two things I would like to mention. The first one is how to enhance grammar. Because when we're going to see the resume of the present day people, we see plenty of grammatical errors. That's so pathetic. Really, I do not know how to eradicate, how to remove all these things. And therein, the applicant should be very careful on concentrating all the grammar, right? And if you're not okay with the grammar, try to read all the things, because reading is going to be the base for writing. And pick up a good book and read everything, right? Maybe if you couldn't get any book, try to use Bible. I used to read Bible. Why? Because you can get so many things out of it. Try to read a lot. Try to read from the Bible or a newspaper, and read for information. Only then you are going to get out of it. And then pick a topic and start writing. Okay, that will help you. And sometimes we feel like there is no one to assist me, there is nobody to correct my paper. No worries at all. And there are so many sites, grammarly.com and Quillbot. There are so many sites are there. You write something and check your grammar with them. That's so great. And free of cost, you can get all these things. And if you're much interested to get some information from the grammar book, it's an interesting book called English Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy, one of the best books ever. So try to get the book and try to get some information from that. Okay, so this is how you can avoid grammar. And the last part is spelling. Spelling is very essential. When you have spelling mistakes in the beginning itself, the software itself eliminates you. So try to concentrate the spelling part. Okay, in order to avoid the spelling, you have to have the practice of reading. Okay, you need to read a lot, read and read and read, so that you can avoid it. And if you couldn't remember the thing, there are plenty of texts like mnemonics, right? So that you can, for example, there's a word symmetry. There are 3 E's are there in that. And then there's a word laughter. When you say yes, it is slaughter, right? There are some mnemonics on that. And the most confusing word is achievement. When you're going to try to type achievement, you're going to have a lot of errors in that, right? So try to understand that and then there is an I inside it. And most of the time, we miss that I. Achievement, ACH, EVE will go like that, but that's not a right thing. And there is an I in that. You're supposed to, take care of it. And there are certain times, the pronunciation and the spellings are going to make you mess, right? So try to understand the right spelling and try to understand the right pronunciation of the word. For example, let me give you some of the words like February is going to be pronounced like February, but we pronounce like February, but it is February. And then Bury is berry. If someone is going to tell you berry, you're supposed to write, you should not spell like Berry. It's not like that. It is Bury, right? And then women, right? Women is something, right? You should not like Wimin. Women is Women. By looking at you, by hearing the word, you may tend to use some different spellings. For example, tomb, right? If you write like TOOM, that's wrong. The right spelling of the word tomb is, excuse me. Yes, the right word for the tomb is TOMB, right? And there are so many things like this. And SOUR is sour, and then TOUR is tour, right? And there are plenty of words. There are different spelling as well as pronunciation. You're supposed to take care of it. And the last part, I would like to tell you what are the things you should not do. That number one, you never include color or graphics in the resume. Let me complete this part with this very interesting part. Never include color or graphics in the resume, right? And never use the outlandish adjective. All right, we know that how to use adjective. And never use long paragraph and multiple pages. And never ever tell a lie in the resume, right? Because they are going to fact check committee, and they are going to seek the permission, the help of the private agency. There are so many companies, I know that they have got the private agency, and they are going to check all the things. If you're going to tell a lie, definitely you are not going to get the job. And never ever share any of your personal information. Don't tell your, there are some people, they are much interested to write their community and their religion and all these things. It's not required, and who are in need of it. Okay, when you have skill, that's it, that's great. Okay, there are some companies, they are not at all interested in listening these things, and that is sometimes when you're going to keep all that personal information, that is going to backfire you. Don't do that. And don't write your hobbies and interests. Some people will say that I'm interested in watching movies of Rajit and Vijay. No, we don't want that kind of a thing, right? So that's not at all a thing, and don't do that. And the next thing is, don't use your photographs unless you are applying for an acting job, right? You need to do that, no other go. And for other job, all other jobs, don't go for that, okay? And you must be very careful in your typos, your spelling, and your spelling error, and the bad grammar, right? I mentioned already. And never had a chance, the first impression is very important, and most of the time you're going to lose all these things. Don't lose that, okay? And social media posts are very essential. When they are going to post, when you're going to send the resume to them, they are going to see your social media posts, right? So I hope we are nearing to the time, and I gave some information about how to write a resume. And if you have any queries, kindly, there is an email ID and the phone number, kindly note it down. I'm here to help you out, and thanks for the great opportunity, and God bless you. Thank you. Yes, my email ID is holymarbles@gmail.com. HOLY, Holy Marbles. MARBLES, holymarbles@gmail.com. Kindly note it down, the email ID. If you have any queries, kindly mail me so that I can give you reply. If you have any questions, kindly pose your questions, please.
Shall we end the session, sir?
Yeah, sure. If
Now
they have no questions, we can, yes.
what, sir?
If they have no questions, we can complete.
Okay, sir. So now is the time to propose vote of thanks, sir.
Okay, fine.
Rema?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Proceed, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
you are.
A warm good afternoon to all. I am very happy to thank everyone present here. First of all, I would like to thank our college secretary, Mr. S. Muralidharan, for his continuous support to progress in digital field also. On behalf of the entire fraternity of our institution, I extend my most sincere thanks to our resource person, Dr. A. Ratna Prabhu, Assistant Professor of English, St. John's College, Palankotai, who has spared time from his busiest schedule to give inputs about the art of writing resume. It is a very good platform for the final year students to apply the above mentioned features when preparing a resume. A special mention to our respected principal, Dr. A. Joycelyn Sharmila, for being the catalyst who stimulates us and stand as pillars of strength. Thank you, ma'am. With deep sense of appreciation, I thank our loving organizers and the other professors for their untiring efforts to make us indulged in this lockdown period also. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants for their active participation in this program. Thank you all.
Once again, thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
wonderful